Hey everybody, Mike Steele here, BBQ Champs Academy. We got Mr. Aaron Leslie with us. Hey brother, how you doing?
Man, doing good. Kind of rested up.
Oh, I'm
Little,
telling you,
little
you like
sore.
you like me, man. That's a long trip. Now you got to fly,
Oh, I flew.
so
Oh yeah, I flew.
yeah. It was fun. Hey, welcome everybody, man. We're gonna be talking about the Jack and the Royal, the two biggest competitions there is. Aaron and I both got a chance to cook at the Jack this weekend. Had a great time. We're gonna answer any questions that you have because the Jack is really kind of a special, unique place. And we've had a lot of people reaching out to us, I guess, over the last 3 or 4 weeks, wanting to know when we was going to talk about the Royal. We usually always do a show 2 weeks or so before, so we'll probably talk a little bit about the Royal today. And next week, I guarantee you, my game plan is to bring in maybe 3 or 4 of our pit masters. We may even get Eric Cantrell, who is a master KCBS judge. He was so kind to come on last year to kind of really help you with some things on um, the textures and the scores and how all that stuff needs
Thank
to
you.
go in the box. He's a very wealth of knowledge, and whether you're doing the American Oral or KCBS in general, he can help you out.
Good. He needs to
So
come on and explain table 661.
yeah, that was kind of hurt you guys. So anyway, we got some folks coming on here. We appreciate all you guys being here. Samuel, Gordon, thank you for joining us tonight. John, appreciate it.
What's up,
Got
Tim?
Mr. Travis on here. Travis, man, look, I had somebody reach out to me, Travis, and they beat me to the punch. But I know that you've lost everything on your trailer and your cooks and all that. But they told me they had set up some kind of GoFundMe page for you, and that was something that I was really wanting to try to get all of our community to kind of help you out. Now I've looked through my message because I could have swore they messaged me when I was going to the Jack last week, and I went back through my messengers and I can't find it. And I even went through my text message, wondering if they text me. If you've got that link, Travis, please post it, and we're going to see if we can help raise some money to cover everything that you lost. And we're going to talk a little bit about that here in the show as well. If you've got that link, Travis, drop it for us. Tim, we got you here tonight, brother. We appreciate it. Al, thank you for joining us. Got Mr. Joel in the house from Buffalo, New York. Got Mr. David here. Got Mr. Bud here. Got another David here. David, looking forward to meeting you guys or seeing you guys up in the Royal here in a couple weeks. Emlyn, thank you for joining us. Got Mr. Lucas as well. Good meeting him. Let's see, from cold downtown Memphis. Yeah, I heard it was getting pretty cold up in Memphis, Tennessee. Lucas came in from Australia. So, yeah, glad to have you with us tonight, Lucas. We really do appreciate it. Let me get rid of that little logo. We don't need it. And so, Travis, if you got that link, man, drop it. It would really be cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm back. I'm excited. Super happy with what my results. Like I said, I was either going to be a hero or zero there. So I think everybody thought I was nuts, but that's all right. You know, you got to go with your gut. And I did what I thought was right. My wife was giving me a hard time on the way up there. Like, what are you doing? Why are you cooking everything different? I was like, I got to go with my gut. Aaron told me the same thing. But, I mean, I just
Go with it.
it was just one of them deals that and I was explaining to Aaron before the show, like if I had a cooked what I normally cook and I didn't do good, I would have been mad. If I got up there and I cooked what I thought needed to be changed and I didn't do good, well, I would have been fine with that because it's what I thought needed to happen. I didn't want to have any regrets. And so that's why I did it. And man, it turned out good. We had a great cook, 11th place
Good
pork.
weekend.
Yeah, 11th pork, 15th chicken, 18th brisket, 38th rib, 9th overall. It was the only team to walk in the top 10 without a top 10 call in the meets. It just consistency. My wife was like, "Well, that's all right, baby." She was trying to console me. Well, you look, you was happy with whatever you had. Don't worry. And I was like, "Baby, it ain't over." And she said, "Baby, you didn't get no." I said, "It don't matter. I'm telling you, I turned in some incredibly good food. There's still a chance that I could have had 3 or 4 high calls, and that's enough to get you there." And man, when they called ninth place, she looked at me and we jumped up, and I was like, "Hell yeah, baby!
I'm telling you, they said
That
Cleveland
was a
Cows. I
great
was like,
feeling
holy
right
shit.
there." Yeah, like right out of nowhere, like the only person to have a top 10 call that didn't have a walk in any of the any of the 4 meets, and pork was just outside, 11th. But man, that was a great feeling. I mean, that's a feeling that'll never go away. I may not ever get to go back to the Jack, and I wouldn't change a thing in my cook. Everything was great. I've had some people ask about the rib situation. Um, I'll kind of explain, what happened to the rib. Um, uh, I don't ever do a practice cook, and I didn't practice with any of the recipes except ribs. About 2 weeks ago, I ran everything straight at the jack. Never ran this brisket recipe before. Never ran the chicken. Never ran the pork. But I wanted to try something different in ribs, and I'll kind of explain it for those that are going. I always cook my ribs meat up, but for this competition, I wanted to cook my ribs meat down. And I wanted to the reason I did a practice cook was to make sure that I didn't have any wonky blowouts in the back of the bones or anything like that. So that was the reason I cooked. I cooked 3 racks of ribs just to try it. Man, the ribs, they turned out perfect. And I made a post a couple weeks ago. Y'all can go back and look at the box. And the ribs were beautiful. And I was like, man, these ribs are banging. The only thing I was wanting, I was like, man, if I could just get a little bit more moisture in these things, man, I think it would be even a better rib. So I was cooking a 3.6, 3.7 pound rib that I was practicing with. So I went and got some 4.1 pound Prairie Fresh. I wanted some really good, nice, thick ribs. I was going to skip the first 3 and get the 4 out of the middle. And man, I cut them. They had this nice fat seam down the middle. They had tons of marbling in them. And I was like, oh my God, these ribs are going to be good. The only thing is, and I did push my temperatures. Instead of 208, 209, I went 209, 210. They felt really tender when I probed them, and I was like, man, these feel really good. Pulled them out, cut them, and then when I took that first bite, they needed a couple more degrees. I think it was because the rib was a little thicker, and when I bit into it, it bit clean. I had to pull it just a little to get it off, but I could taste that fat pocket. That fat seam did not render down. And I knew right then I was in trouble. There was nothing I could do. And had I taken that rib to 212 another 15 minutes, I think that rib would have. I needed 4 more points, and I think I had a 171. I think I could have easily got 3 or 4 more points because I got dinged a little bit on the tenderness. I got dinged a little bit on the tastes were pretty good, but it was all the tenderness that really kind of messed me up. And I knew that tenderness was going to be the biggest thing. And 3 or 4 more points, I think I would have finished 4th or 5th overall. I wasn't far from first. So, but that's just one of them things. I don't have any regrets. I wanted the rib that I wanted, but I just didn't factor that part in. And I've thought now, should I cook that same rib at the Royal but this time take it to 212? There's no way it would have fallen off the bone if I had went to 212, and it would have been a really good rib. More than likely, I'm not going to practice again. I was super happy with the flavor profile on everything. The brisket was definitely different than what I normally cook, but it was what I was looking for. I was like, wow, this is different. So, but I mean, it got 18th. I'm not complaining with an 18th. I was first on my table, and
well, that's all you can do.
And that's all you can do. I think I was first on the table in pork, first on the table in brisket. I think I was second on the table in chicken, and 4th on the table in rib, and it was a horrible rib. So, man, no regrets. I was super happy. Everything went good, and it was a fun time. It was really, really cool. People already blowing me up. It was a fun time. I was very fortunate to get to go with Sweetie last year just to kind of see the layout of the land, and already knew some good places to go eat. Miss Mary Bobo's is phenomenal, and it was just one of them deals to where you kind of already knew, the layout, where I wanted to park at and stuff like that. I got Bill Gillespie, close to where Bill Gillespie was last year. I wanted to be on that side of the park. And, man, it was a lot of fun. It was, the adrenaline was kind of building up coming game day. It's like Suzette said, are you getting nervous? And I was like, I don't get nervous. It was too many years of drag racing to get nervous. But I was excited. I was like, I am ready to see if I'm going to be a freaking hero or if I'm going to be a zero. Am I going to flop or am I going to be happy? And I guess that was probably the more thing laying in in the back of my mind. But man, I was really happy. I was like, man, I know. I made an adjustment. I mixed up my brisket injection for the first time. I'm putting all these powders. Like, golly, man, this is not what I'm looking for. Added some more water to it, toned it down a little. I was like, oh, that tastes pretty good. I'm good with that. So I literally was making fly adjustments on my injection as I was mixing them up, getting ready to inject. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I was happy with everything. I made all my turn ins. The big thing to me, Aaron, is I kept debating wings or no wings, one wing or six wings. That's all I kept. I didn't. I went talked to Eric Cantrell. I hope everybody comes back next week because Eric Cantrell is a wealth of knowledge. So if you do any kind of KCBS competitions or you're going to the American Royal, you definitely need to hear what this guy says. So I went and talked to him. Tell me, Eric, am I going to get drilled if I put one wing in the box or not? He said, if you've got six wings and they are no good, you put one wing in the box. Do not worry about if they're going to ding you. And I was like, okay. He said, they're not supposed to ding you what's not in the box. You meet the criteria. 7 pieces in it with white and dark meat. The one wing will justify the white. I was like, okay, that's what I needed to hear. But it's one of them deals. My wings, I've never cooked wings before. I did one practice run here. I don't know what the heck a good wing tastes like. It's a wing. It's not a lot to it. I love eating chicken wings, but man, I'm eating buffalo sauced wings, at the wing place, not barbecued wings. So I tried a thigh. It was really good. I said, okay, I got 6 really good thighs. And I was like, man, let me try a wing. Man, I tried one of them wings. I was like, God, dog, juice just pouring out of it. I was like, okay, it's tender. It's full of juice. Screw it. I'm going to put 6 wings in the box. I may get nailed, but what the heck? So I just lined them all in. It was a beautiful presentation box. And, man, I was just fingers crossed. Don't kill me. I got 15th. I was super happy with that. So that was the little part that was a little, and now I'm having to box 2 meats. I've never done it before. So it kind of got me a little bit behind on ribs, got me a touch behind on my pork because I was really trying to get everything in 5 minutes early. I've never cooked KCBS outside the American Royal. I've only cooked 4 KCBS competitions. They've all been at the American Royal. So I don't have a lot of time doing these 30 minutes, and when you get a little bit behind, it's hard to play catch up. So, I was kind of doing most of it myself. I had one guy helping me with, getting my tables cleaned off for me and stuff like that. But that was really it. And, it all went good. It was a lot of fun. I was happy with what I put in the box, and Suzette said, "You happy?" I said, "I'm happy, and that's all I can do. Nothing else matters at this point." So, anyway, let's see. We got a few folks in here. Let's see what we got. Congrats on the Jack, Mike. Congrats from Wichita. Okay, Christopher Buffalo. I think we had a few people asking some questions. Anyway, and we'll talk about your cook, man. You got out there and you nailed it as well, Aaron. I mean, you had an amazing People's Choice. I know you got to be super stoked about that. And,
100%.
Let's see. Congratulations, Mike, talking with you and Aaron before awards. Aaron, congratulations on the Chef's Choice call. Yep, it was great meeting you. I tell you what, the coolest thing was to be able to meet so many of the people that have taken classes on Barbecue Champs from overseas. And that was... those guys are really cool, man. I mean, they're really. That should be it. Thank you. Okay, Travis, that should be it. Thank you. I hadn't seen the link, Travis. If I missed it, drop it again. Anyway, so there's some really cool guys that came from overseas. I was really surprised. I don't know if you got a chance to walk around and meet them. You was parked right there by them. Mm-hmm. I think it was 21 teams. And, man, there was teams from Australia, Austria, New Zealand, Panama, Italy, Mexico, Canada, Austria, Sweden, Belgium. I'm like going, Japan. I'm like going, man alive. You are talking about, like, that is pretty stacked. Yeah, that's some serious deal. And it was really cool to see people that brought trailers in. I think Carrie, hey, Carrie, glad to have you on. Won my chicken table for 42nd. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I think Carrie had even brought in a trailer for
his
Lucas.
Trailer right behind us.
Yeah, for Lucas and stuff. So, I mean, it's pretty cool the way that everybody in the United States was willing to bring in trailers for these guys because they all had some pretty nice rigs to cook out of and stuff. So,
that's what Kerry said. He said, hey, I loaned my trailer out and said, yes, I would, not realizing I was going to be cooking. So
right.
He had to put his plan B, go get his trailer out of the barn and kind of get it rigged back up to go. And that's what that's what he was using. But yeah, I had those guys. I had Dan Barrett, and those guys all behind us, and so we got to hang out with those guys and the New Zealand boys and Australia. I mean, we got to go there a lot, jump the fence a little bit. It's a
Yeah.
short railway, but got to hang out and talk to them on Saturday after awards, and it was a good time because I've talked to those guys, at the Royal. I've seen them a few times, talked on Messenger and on the phone or whatever. But to get to meet them in person on some of them, was pretty neat. So they had a big group, big showing.
Yeah.
A lot of guys came to help them out, and they big teams travel.
Yeah, that was really cool. Dirk, congratulations to you and Jody. I know y'all got a couple calls. I know one of them was in dessert. I can't remember what the other one was. Lucas, yeah, I think Lucas had a call in something that was third place. Maybe it was the People's Choice or so. I think that's what his was. So yeah, let's see. Did you cook on drum? I did put the brisket on a drum for about 2.5 hours. Hit an internal temp. I was shooting for about 153, 154, and that's where it was. Pulled it off, wrapped it, stuck it in my big pit, and let it go round and round. So everything went really well there. And yeah, I had no issues with any of that. So let's see, what a great cook, but had some land mid tables as well. Yeah, man, that's all you can do is just do the best you can do, and that's it. So got Daryl Walker.
What's up,
What's
Daryl?
up, Magic? Good, buddy. What's up? Had a good time talking with him. Yeah, he did it in home cook. Yeah, so we used Old Girl, and she was a beast. There you go. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun, and it's an experience. I would tell everybody, at least try to get you in every, it's hard, to get a championship, a state championship. But man, it's a really cool deal if you can just get one, and go to something like that. I've been cooking for 10 years. I've had 4 bungs one year. I had 3 bungs another year, and man, you just don't get drawn. I mean, unless if you can auto and get the 7 in, man, that's hard to do. So anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun. So and I think it would be good if everybody could at least get the experience to go.
So at least if you got a friend that's going,
yeah, just to go.
Just hop a plane. I think it was like for me it was like 50 minutes to Dallas, and then me and Tim flew. It was like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
From Dallas to Nashville, and then we hopped, got a car and a little
down.
SUV type deal and drove. But I mean, if you can go up there, I know it. Airfare probably $800-900, and then
Right.
rental car stuff. But if you can go and either enjoy your friends or even just go walk around.
Right.
Lynchburg has a lot going on. They have a lot of things for the town folks. They got a lot of good food trucks. But if you can just go down there and walk around and kind of see what's going on, and then talk to some of the teams and just kind of meet them,
Yeah.
you'll get the idea that when you do get to go, you'll kind of have an idea of what you want to focus on and what you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it does help. Lance, Mike, did cooking on the drum lower your brisket cook time? Yeah, 1 hour. Normally, on my smoker at 270, it's 3.5 hours, and I'm usually right there at 153 degrees. It was 2.5 hours on the drum at 300, and I just put a probe in it. When it hit 153, I said, that's it. I'm pulling it, putting it in the smoker, and pulled it, wrapped it, stuck it in the smoker, and that way I knew what the time was, because I did kind of talk to Aaron. I was like, okay, make sure I ain't stupid here, but wrap time's wrap time. Once it's wrapped, whatever time it is, normally it's 3 hours and 30 minutes or whatever the time is, and I'm at my tenderness. I just know that I needed to wrap it at 153 degrees, and that would be just like it was being in my smoker. And I actually pulled it about 1 or 2 degrees early, just in case if it had a little carryover. I kind of factored that in it. So normally I'm at about 155 on my smoker at that time. I did this when I pulled it like 153, right at almost 154, and that's when I pulled. I pulled it just a little early, just in case if it wanted to carry a little, because I was cooking at a little hotter temperature. So, and it's that the thing is with the rotisserie, you can't leave in probes in them. So you have that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people use them, especially in KCBS, if you don't cook a lot, just to make sure you don't overshoot the meat. I don't have that luxury. I just got to know when to go in, and I've got such good times on my rotisserie. I was like, okay, we should be pretty good right here. And I temped it the first time. I said, I'm going to temp it about 30 minutes early. Well, sure enough, I temped it 30 minutes early. It was 209. I was like, I'm coming back in 30 minutes. And I came back 30 minutes later, and I poked it and it was right there at 210 and a half. It was bouncing between 210. It was, sometimes we see a 211, but it was mostly about 210, 210 and a half. And I was like, that's it. I checked the pro. It was tender going in, had a slight little tug coming out. I was like, this is perfect. And I pulled it, vented it for about 2 or 3 minutes, wrapped it back up, and stuck it in the Cambro, and man, I nailed that part of it. So that was the one thing. Like, don't screw that up. I've got 3 racks of ribs. I mean, they may not all be done at the same time. They're usually within about 5. 2 of them were done at the exact same time. One of them I needed about another 5 or 6 minutes on it, and it was perfect. Money mussels, I had 2 that came off at the same time. I had another one that came off about 5 minutes later. I had another come off about 5 minutes after that. Man, they were all perfect. And chicken was kind of easy. I cooked my chicken on the drum, and they're easy because you can put a probe in them. So anyway, I had a great time, and I'd love to go back again. Makes you want to go get some GCs, and fingers crossed, or try to go to some of them ones that they have, one and done, and you get it like you've done out in New Mexico, and like Daryl did. So, and like Big Brian. So anyway, let's hear a little bit about Brian. I mean, I know you and Tim Ish flew in to kind of support him and give him some moral support. And first of all, before you get into it, I want to congratulate all the guys that won that deal, Janky Leg and all those guys that did
Scuffletown
Smokers to get a grand. I mean, how would you like to have this, Aaron? They both had identical scores down to what, the 10,000s. How would you like to lose $50,000 on a coin flip? I mean, I don't know if everybody's already thought about that, but when it's dead tied like that, it's broken, I'm assuming, with the coin flip. So could you imagine losing 25 G's with a coin
it's funny
flip?
Because after the cook was done, I walked over to George's trailer, which is right across from us, and I walked over, gave him a big bear hug, and I said, hey, buddy, I said, you know how this works. I said, you win the Royal, you win the Jack. This is what I said. That's how it works. Okay,
Yeah.
You're on your timeline, right? I know the Jack last year, but and then usually the Royal, then you're going. So it's kind of it's the Royals usually before the Jack, anyways. But I said that's just your spot flavors are on. You're gonna have a good cook. I know your chicken wasn't what you wanted to be, but it doesn't really matter, man. I just got a feeling you're gonna win this thing. And sure enough, he reserves it with the same damn score. So technically, I mean, I know the coin flip is a coin flip, right?
Right.
But he did exactly what I figured dude is going to be a first place win. So it's kind of, it's just that kind of results, 15,000 or 5,000, I mean, it's like, where you're going to be at, but.
All right. So Adam said drop score is how they break the tie.
Yeah. See, we don't know what the drop score is because I don't have a sheet, but I mean,
okay.
It was tied. The score was tied overall, but yeah, the drop score, so the number 6 score, unless it was a perfect, that's how they're going to decide it.
Okay. All right. Thanks for clearing that up, Adam. That's at least better than losing a coin flip, so that's good. All right. Well, got to congratulate Phil Breeden. Perfect 180 in brisket. That was a big call. Huge congratulations there. We had Ira Green. I think he had a perfect 180 pork. Congratulations to him. So yeah, it's.
I just when I walked over to Jordan's trailer and Jordan's on it now, I guess I said, "It's how it's going to work, man. You're going to win this thing." I mean, I called it up at the beginning. It was there, and whatever the point was, still 1 and 2. I mean, that to me, that's a win in my book. So,
100%.
He had an amazing cook, and he's an amazing cook. He's a damn good guy, amazing cook.
Yeah.
And he was bitching about his chicken, but I said, "Don't worry about it, man. You got a good chicken." So. Just roll with it and jump on it and let's just cross our fingers, hope for the best. I got faith in you. I said I have $100 bill riding that says you'll win this thing. And that's right. That's what I mean. That's just where it's at. But it's that he had a good cook and I'm proud of him because he came in and as I said, drop score or however whatever the decision was.
Yeah.
To find it.
Yeah, well, Jordan, man, congratulations. I was really wanting to reach out kind of to you as well, but man, I know you're going to be on Chicken Fried here in a little bit. I'm glad you dropped over here as well. Wanted to get you guys on the show, and man, I know it's hard traveling and trying to get everything back. I didn't really want to push people too much, but huge congratulations to you and Allie and the entire team. That's a heck of accomplishment. I mean, it was Team of the Year last year, won the American Royal. freaking comes back this year and God dog
He's
loses the
on
damn
top of him, man. He
yeah
is.
loses the damn tiebreaker at the freaking deadgum
He
jack.
might
So
want to go ahead and start his classes for 2025,
yeah,
and then go ahead and get the next 3 or 4 of them going, Jordan.
that's exactly it. That's for
He
sure.
started selling
So
them up pretty quick.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I offered him a deal like, man, you got a spot on Barbecue Champs anytime you want it. I will sell classes from you worldwide. So yeah, it's there if you want it, brother. You know it because you're well deserving of it. So, and we do have some new cooks that are coming. I've talked to some people when we was there, and got some new teams that'll be coming on Barbecue Champs. So we're looking forward to bringing out some new stuff for next year as well. But yeah, huge congratulations to Jordan and his team as well. Glad to have you
Oh
on here
man,
tonight.
solid guy.
Super awesome.
Love that guy.
Yeah,
He's good
yeah.
people.
We had him on last year after, and just super nice guy. So. Yeah, but congratulations again, Jordan. That was pretty sweet, man. Well, and like I said, all the Texas team. I don't want to forget Jackie Milligan, another Texas team. I
Yeah,
think I
seventh
got all
place
of
rib.
them. Seventh place rib there. Phil had I had a eighth. I think he had seventh or eighth on chicken. First place, perfect score brisket. So really, congratulations to all those guys.
Brought that trophy back home to Texas. That's what
Rock it back. Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about Brian. And I know you and Tim kind of flew into there. We'll talk a little bit about this. And then for those that are still hanging around, we're going to kind of get into some of the American Royal stuff. I know a lot of people have been asking questions about that. So we'll kind of let you know what the next week's show is going to be. But y'all flew in, I think, on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah. We flew there Thursday morning. Got there probably around 3:00. Got into Nashville and then had a little lunch. It might have been noon one. And anyway, we headed towards Tullahoma, about 25 minutes outside of Lynchburg, and got our hotel room and kind of moved in. And so we just dropped our stuff off and we just piled to the bottoms, and to the holler and man, we met up with Brian. Then matter of fact, Brian just pulled in when we pulled in, so that was that's one of those deals like, okay, cool, we're right here. Well, he was parked where he was trying to figure out where to check in, kind of get his stuff on. He was parked where I was parked in 23. I thought, man, just a great spot. It's asphalt. If Mother Nature decides that, man, we're fixing a downpour this thing like it always does,
Right.
You're in a great position right here on this asphalted kind of this old millings, So anyway, I got him parked in over there by on that center row by the international teams, and which was kind of nice. As I said, Jordan was right there. Then you had Dirk and them on one end. You had Phil and them on the other side, and you had some of the international teams right behind us, and kind of a good mix. But as I said, it was a nice, quiet area. There wasn't a whole lot of loud noise, hooping, hollering, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, we went and did that, and then man, Friday we got there early, and man, I went and got me a couple of number bottles from the distillery there. Got in line about 6:45, and got the numbers that I was looking for.
Okay.
And so then we came back. I did a little shopping, trying to put in my head. I said, we went to the barrel store and we got all the stuff they needed. And my main goal this time was to just walk around the square. I've been there 3 times and I have never walked the square.
Yeah.
I've been to the Jack Daniel's, the general store, and maybe one other little small shop there. That was about it. So my goal was to try to walk the square, see all the shops, see what all they had inside of it.
Yeah.
And then I started looking for my decorations for the cook's choice. I'm just trying to figure out what am I going to do. And all the windows, they had this autumn look, right? They have these long, like these long ribbons and leaves and stuff. But it's kind of a lay thing, right? It's kind of in a big bag.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked where could I get that, and so I walked my butt down to the Dollar General. I walked down the Dollar General. I went inside there and I said, what can I get here? And I started looking around, and finally on the bottom shelf, I found a bunch of flowers. Right. Orange leaves, yellows, all that kind of stuff, and greens and ferns. And I just started putting a mix of things together on the floor, like, okay, this kind of goes together, kind of goes together. And I just bought like 6 or 8 different bouquets of like $3 flowers,
Right.
And walked back over there and I said, hey, I got some stuff to decorate. Okay, good. And, we kind of moved on about our business. And then we went to the parade. I went to the store, went to the parade. Then we went down to, been on the hill. Went and had some dinner up there and had a little Mary Bobo's fried chicken, and the beef tips were great. They were solid.
Yeah. That caramel salt, that salted caramel banana pudding wasn't too bad either. I had 3 of them.
I didn't eat the dessert.
Woo!
Man,
I did.
I have a sweet tooth, but mine comes in about midnight, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I
ate 3 of them.
Stay away from it.
They were
had
good.
A few drinks and
yeah.
But no, it was good. So some Saturday morning, Tim kept reminding me, And Brian's on track. Brian's doing his thing. He's got his pits going. He's got his meets on there. We're not messing with him. He's got his timelines. I mean, he is solidly on track, and he's hitting his numbers. And Tim Kitch reminded me, it's Aaron. It's 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Cook's choice. 12 o'clock. Cook. I keep saying, yeah, 12:30. Yeah, 12:30. Because I'm thinking, it
Right.
moved up, and I just keep saying 12:30. And about 11:15, I looked. I already had my shrimp and stuff on, my bacon wrap shrimp, and I was like, man. I said it's 11:14. I said, crap, we turned in at 12. I threw my steaks. So I did tenderloin, and I did Middle Meat Company tenderloins, and they were like marshmallows. You take the whole hockey puck in your mouth. There's like a solid marshmallow. So
right.
Did that, and then got all that stuff done. But I had a crowd gathering when they saw the tray. They started realizing, oh wait, this guy's fixing to do something. It's about 25, 30 people sitting around the camp. They're all just videoing and then Tim steps out, and man, he's helping me get my stuff done. Brian steps over, and it's back a team effort. Everybody's holding something, pulling something, getting strings off of this, making sure nothing's left on there. And we started plating, and people are videoing, and they're clapping, they're like, man, you want me to run these guys off? I'm like, no, leave them alone, man. They're just here to watch. Give them a show. So I'm over here shaking. I mean, I can't. I mean, I'm trying to put the mashed potatoes on there, and they're just shaking. My hand, my drillers running. So, but it was a good cook, and things. The numbers hit their timelines perfectly to where there was no wait time.
Right.
And turned in a great dish. I did spam and crackers on top of a bacon wrap or a Middle Meat Company tenderloin and garlic mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
And knocked it out of the park. I thought it was good. I didn't taste it till after we turned it in, and I was like, I took a bite of the steak. I just threw it on the trailer. I said, I'm out. That's good enough. We're good to go. So,
right.
But then to get that walk. And they called it, and I was sitting in my chair. We're messing around, and Tim and all this say, Aaron, you're up. I said, was it first place? That's all I said.
Right.
And it was third, So
right.
But ended up with 178.8. I think it was one. It was one texture score from a perfect 180.
Dang.
So 118 got me. And,
dang.
So I was kind of like, okay, well, I'll take it. I got a barrel head, and Brian gave me the barrel head to bring back with me, and so I checked all my luggage, and I brought that sucker back on the plane. I carried that sucker around everywhere, man.
It would have been right here. It would have been right here. I
had it in the plane. I was in first class because all the seats got bought out.
Right.
So by the time I clicked off and checked my flight number and then clicked back on, the seats were going fast.
Right.
And so I had to upgrade to first class. And so I bought my first class. So I'm in the front seat, and as Tim walks in, take a photo. I've got the barrel head sitting right here in my lap. And he take a photo, and I got it on my phone. He took my photo. He sent it to me. He goes, "Hey man, just wanted you to know you can have a picture of the barrel head on the plane." So
that's hilarious. That's awesome.
But no, it was a good turn in, and I was proud to be able to support and represent Big B Barbecue and their first appearance at the Jack. They'll have many more, I'm sure.
Yeah,
he's a damn good cook, and he had a solid cook. His flavors were good. I mean, I just, besides one stupid table that doesn't like anybody's barbecue there on all four meats. Table 661 can kiss my rear, but that, it's one of those deals that he turned in what we thought was just superb barbecue, and you couldn't ask for a better day.
Right. That's it. That's all you
couldn't
can do.
Ask for it. And weather, solid weather.
Oh, the weather was phenomenal. I mean, it was 46, 48 degrees every morning, and the high was 80, 82, I think, on Saturday. And it's not a cloud in the sky, just gorgeous. Wow. Is the barrel head at the store?
Not yet.
Not yet. Where you got it?
Right now it's at the house.
At the house. There you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we only got in. I got in late Sunday night. I probably got in about 9:45.
Okay.
Sunday night. So by the time I got in and crashed, woke up, took care of some business, So I just haven't got back into the routine of things yet. But it'll set in. It's not a first place trophy. John likes first place trophies.
Yeah.
And grand. So it's not that. But if he wants to represent that in the store, then he's more than welcome to. And if he doesn't, then it'll go with the other ones at the house.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So, all right. So we got some questions. And if y'all have any questions for Aaron or myself, drop them in the chat. This is what makes this stuff fun. Let's see. What was your favorite part of the competition experience, Mike? I'll answer it, and I'll let Aaron answer it. Man, that's my favorite part of the competition experience. All right, I'm going to give you a two-part question. I'm going to answer your first. For the competition experience, I would say knowing when I woke up Saturday morning and when I did that video, I think I was videoing when I just did my rub on my ribs and my pork butt, and I showed y'all putting it in, and then I kind of panned out there, and that was probably about 7:45, 7:30, 7:45. They went on. It was cool. That smoke was just hanging in the holler, and it was so surreal. That's like, man, I'm cooking. I'm fixing to. It gives you goosebumps, man. I'm fixing to cook against the best of the best, and we got 88 teams here, 21 teams from the all over the world. I mean, some countries I ain't even hardly ever heard of before. I think the experience part of that, of being in the moment, how intimate the competition is. I noticed that last year when I went there with Sweetie. Like, the American Royal is big. You get lost in the moment at the American Royal. That was the first thing I noticed, that when I was at the Jack last year with Sweetie, that you have this just very calm, very quiet, very quaint, not a loud music blaring. It's just, you're there. These people are focused for one thing, and that's to win a world championship. And I think the intimacy of how we're all kind of close together, um, and it's not as spread out like as the Royal. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I don't know. I
It's
mean,
a
to
tight,
me,
it's a tight packed community.
it really is.
Very
You're,
quiet, very relaxed.
yep,
They're all in their own element, so there wasn't like a huge party. Um, but I mean, I think that's what you're. I mean, from what I can see from everybody that was there, it was just very low key,
yeah,
very humble, very hangout. They
yep,
all knew they were there. Everyone there, besides probably 25 or 30 teams, had probably been there at least once.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of one of those deals that everybody kind of would expect. So yeah,
Yeah. So I
it was
think that
humbling.
was the my favorite part of the competition experience was that. The part of just being at the Jack was obviously the competition part, but eating at Miss Mary Bobo's, I ate there last year. It's phenomenal food. I would say that the parade was really cool. The whole town comes out and supports us for that. Like Aaron said, and I did walk around all the general stores last year. We went just about every shop last year. I wasn't cooking. I was there just helping Sweetie. We got there a day early to kind of do all that stuff. We did it again this time. Some great locals there, supporting the locals. One of the things, y'all see Suzette and I, we're always going to competitions usually on a Thursday. Suzette and Vivian Freeman, they have won 28 grand champions in a row on shopping. Nobody can beat them. I don't care who tries to come
Charge
after
it.
them. I mean, they're shopping. But we always like to support the locals. Anywhere we go, we're always going to go out and eat. She's going to go shop. We always like to support these local competitions because a lot of them are in small towns. So we did the same thing there. We go in the general stores. We all bought little stuff. We ate at Miss Mary Bobo. So that was the walking around the town. But Miss Mary Bobo's in the Hill is pretty cool. So that's outside the competition part. So it is a lot of fun. We got some good questions coming in now, and this is what I really was hoping. We got some questions. Any Florida cooks on y'all's radar? No, Jonathan, not for me.
Jonathan, send me a text message on one you think you got coming up, and I'll fly up there and cook it with you.
There you go. So Aaron ain't scared to travel. He's got truck. We'll travel.
Hey man, I'm starting to use this American Airlines thing. I've flown 3 times this year, and I probably fly once a year, like ever. I hardly
Right.
ever fly. So normally I drive everywhere, right? But
Right.
I don't mind. I don't mind flying, and now that I'm kind of getting used to the routine of these things, it's getting a little bit easier. So I like to use my American Airlines kind of rack up some miles thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, hit me up, Jonathan. I like
All
to
right.
cook there with you.
Marcio's got a good question. So, Marcio, sit tight, brother. I'm coming back. Let's see. Any obvious differences in flavor profiles? I'll let you go first, Aaron.
Man, it's hard to tell because I will say this: even some of the best top cooks in KCBS did not even walk.
Yeah.
So how do you know what flavor profile hit or didn't hit? It was all about the table. It's very subjective. The Jack is not a KCBS certified judging crew like you would go to like a Royal or a regular KCBS comp. There are some that are certified judges that just judge the Jack. There are some that are more of a celebrity style judge that
Mm-hmm.
they do foodie stuff.
Locals.
They do, yeah. And I mean,
There's
but
a lot of locals.
those are the people that do blogs and I mean, there's different requirements of people all around. So I mean, it's hard to tell this kind of cook off because of that reason. Um, they're not a standard profile. So I mean, I really don't have an answer for you because I think everybody who walked kind of hit differently, but they might not have. I mean, other people that normally would walk didn't walk. So it's hard to tell.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have an answer for that.
Right. Yeah. Any obvious flavor pro? Yeah. All I can tell you guys, I toned all my stuff down. So that was my whole thought process going in. I toned everything down for this competition. So for various reasons.
I think just a little bit under middle of the road was probably a lot better for a lot of people than it was like a little bit more bold,
Yeah.
maybe a little more stand out because it kind of like it might have stood out too much.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got a lot of countries that are cooking against you. You have a lot of
Yeah.
different states out there, guys that are just regular cooks who got a GC, but they got their check and jack. So they may not be as 30, 40, 50 cooks a year kind of cooks, right? So
right.
They're a little bit more on the trial and error side.
Yep. 100%. All right, Marcio's got a good question. If y'all have any other questions, drop them in the comments, man. We got a lot of good stuff rolling. What was the most unexpected thing that happened to y'all, good or bad? Let it out. That's a good question, Marcio. I had all my meats on time. Brisket, ribs, pork, chicken came off. I had my chicken to come off the way I cooked it. The chicken does cook on a drum. And my wings, I didn't have enough room to get them on the drum with the thighs. So I put the wings in my big smoker and for 30 minutes, and then I wrapped them. But my game plan is I put the wings on 20 minutes after I put the chicken thighs on because it didn't take as long for them to cook. And I did practice this one time because I had never cooked wings before in my life until 2 weeks ago. When I did the ribs, I was like, I got to practice on these wings. I went to do them all on the drum. All of a sudden, I couldn't get 2 half pans on the gateway. I was like, oh, crap, what am I going to do now? Well, pivot real quick, Mike. I put them in the deadgum drum in my big cooker 20 minutes after the fact. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I was like, I'll do them 30 minutes in here. Got them done. I'm just going to let them go in my big cooker. Well, there at the end, I was checking my ribs. My temperature just wasn't staying up because I was opening a couple times to check the ribs. They came off at like what would have been 12 o'clock for chicken when I was doing all this, which is a little late. And I was like, look, this is perfect. I wrapped them at 11:25. That's when the wings got wrapped. The thighs was already wrapped at 11:10. And my thighs should have been done at 11:40. Well, at 11:42, they hit 102.05. And soon as they came off, I pulled my wings out of the drum. I put them over there. They were like at 192. Man, within 5 or 6 minutes, I think it was 7 or 8 minutes, they was at 205. So they're where I need. Everything's done. All that was great. I was like, okay, thighs were done 15 minutes early. Perfect. I just set them up. I put them in the Cambro. My wings were nice. They were hot. I just set them up on top of my grill. And my process to start everything was going to be at 12 o'clock. So here was the good and the bad. So all my meats were done. Everything was great. Well, now for the first time, understand, I'm not a KCBS cooker. I've only cooked the American roll. So I was like, okay, I should be able to get my thighs done, processed. So I got them out, did everything, trimmed them up a little bit. I dunked them in the sauce. I got them on it. And then I had to get the wings. Well, I got my wings. I picked them out. I dunked them. I got all that done. Well, I didn't think it was going to take as long to get all that stuff done as what I had factored in. So my whole game plan was to put the wings in the box at 12:20. Put the box in their hand and let them start walking. Because I want to always be early on that first turn in. Understand, I'm not a KCBS cook. I'm a one-man show. I'm doing all of this by myself. I don't have no help. So here was the bad. As I was putting all this stuff, I got my wings done. It's 12:20, and I'm just now starting to get stuff in the box. So now I'm like, okay, get the chicken in the box, get it in, and then I had my wings. I decided it was all going in it, getting them all stacked in, getting my box clean, getting the lid shut. By the time I got the lid shut and all that, it was like 12:26. And I was like, okay, send the box. Well, now I'm 6 minutes behind on my schedule. It don't sound like a lot, and to a KCBS cook, that's nothing to make up. But to somebody that's doing all of it by yourself and you're processing ribs in a different way than what you're used to, it started getting me behind a little bit. So, And that's why people always ask for advice, and we'll talk heavily about that. Always get your first 2 turn-ins in ready and early, unless you're comfortable doing this. If you cook it all the time, it ain't no big deal. And I'm a one-man show, so I'm trying to open up 3 racks of ribs. I'm trying to drain the juice. I'm trying to get a little sauce on the back side of them. I flip them over. I'm trying to get some sauce on the front side. Man, I put them in the pit. My time of putting them in the pit was supposed to be about a 10-minute set on the sauce. So all of a sudden I'm looking and I'm like, man, I'm going to go. I can't get them that long. I mean, they were already supposed to be out. They was on there for 3 minutes. I was like, I'm going to push them another couple minutes, at least get 5 minutes. So it was that was the bad. And you start to like, okay, don't you get behind, and I'm really cool under pressure. I mean, it was too many years of drag racing. Just get your ribs sliced. I got them all done. And once I got my ribs boxed, and I mean, my ribs boxed really pretty, really quick. I had a beautiful turn in on my ribs. I think from that point, I could kind of start playing catch up because the money muscles I've kind of done, it's kind of helped because I've cooked 2 or 3 CBAs. I've never cooked pork outside the American Royal, but I've cooked 3 CBAs. So it has given me a little bit of processing my pork. And it's not just once a year. I actually got to do this a few months ago. So at a CBA competition. So that part kind of helped me out a little bit. And I kind of made it up on the pork a little bit. And then now we're in the last one. We're at brisket. That's kind of, that's an everyday deal for us, right? It wasn't no big deal. Got my brisket sliced, laid them up, cut the fat off the bottom, got them boxed, put 8 in the box, and they were good to go. I didn't have to do anything to them. Didn't do nothing. Just little au jus on them and put them out. So that was the one thing that was unexpected is I got a little behind. And it don't seem like 6 minutes is a lot, but 6 minutes when it makes up your process, when you're trying to set sauce and stuff like that, it can kind of get you behind a little bit. So I didn't get a 10-minute set on my sauce. I got about a 5. And I just had to cut it short because I knew if I kept going, I was just going to get further behind on everything else. Mm-hmm. So, but that's a good question. And to answer this question, did any of the meats finish at a high or low temp? No, they were all it's basically about the same elevation as
pretty much Central
Texas. Yeah, it's all about
I think under 800 foot, So.
Yeah, it was 612 feet, so it wasn't no big deal. What about you, Aaron? Did you have any unexpected good or bad? I know you was like, oh crap, it's 11:15. I got to get this crap cooked. So
I will say that the timeline, because they did move up 30 minutes, right? So instead of 12, 12:31, 1:30, they went 12. It was 11:30 sauce, 12 o'clock, cook's choice, and then 12:30 for chicken. And so that timeline, having to write it down. But one thing that me and Tim and Brian discussed was we need to constantly call out the timelines.
Yeah.
Call it out. So even out loud so that everybody around you knows, hey, this is what we have going on. So if you just like in a restaurant in the kitchen,
right.
You're constantly you're spitting out these numbers and you're constantly reminding people, hey, we got to go. We got to go. Just with timeline. So Brian's son, his main concern was calling out the time. Like every minute or two, he said the time. It gets annoying hearing that. Like it's 11:41, it's 11:42. Right. But that doesn't. But a person who's cooking, yes, who is a one-man team, I'm constantly looking at the clock. Right. But also having somebody there that can spit that time out, that know what that number is in the back of your head, you're rolling. So I did notice that my steaks cooked a little bit faster because I did have my grill kind of racked up there, but things were just moving like they should have. They were on time. Like I'm gonna say this. Let me back that up. My steaks didn't cook any faster. On the normal turn, flip, twist, all that stuff, they were at the 198 to 104 range. Perfect. That's where they normally should be. But then all of a sudden, my timer on my phone stays running because I use my phone as my timer with the world clock on it. Right. And so I have that there, and it's like I'll look over, and it's like it's perfect. It's 10, 12-minute mark after my last flip. So things are moving on, but once it started going, oh crap, these are all. I mean, and everything was hitting like within 3 minutes of each other. So I couldn't have asked for a better timeline. I had 10 tenderloins cooking on that drum, and so when I have that going, it's like everything was within a few minutes of each other. Like 5 or 6 came off really fast. All I need was 7. I wasn't worried about it. The 7 best ones come off, and then the next 2 or 3 came off. I put them on the deal, vented them, fold them, and let them rest. But I think overall the timelines were pretty much spot on. The elevation was about the same as anyone else is cooking in East Texas, South Texas.
Yep.
And the humidity, it was very cool, but in the 50s,
Yeah.
middle 50s in the mornings. And it wasn't a whole lot of wind. So I mean, it really was kind of a big deal. Plus, we had our Texas Reds Saturday morning. I
Right.
went down and Tony Tanachi, son of a gun, saved the day, and he came up with about half a bottle of vodka, so that was about right what we needed. And I went down to the store and got me the stuff I needed for a quick Bloody Mary, and
Yep.
I usually make it here at the house.
Yep.
Man, we all got to incorporate in that and got to have some and just kind of keep it as low key as possible. But I mean, there wasn't anything out of the ordinary. I think everything was pretty much spot on, and everything couldn't really ask for a better weekend to cook barbecue at the Jack.
Oh, it was gorgeous. I mean, that weather
Not
was.
compared to the last 3 times.
Yeah.
Compared to the last times I've been there, it's been
Yeah.
soaking ass raining.
Yeah. It
So
was nice. All right, so here we go. Fidel, let's go. For Casey Biz, is it better to turn in a full box, more slices, more meat, or just what they asked for and turn in first time going to the American Royal? All right, I'll answer this one for you, and I'll let Aaron answer it. You put in the box what's good. If it is good, you put it in the box. If it's not good, don't put it in the box. If you have 8 good ribs, you put 8 good ribs in it. If you have 6 good ribs, you meet the minimum requirement. You put 6. If you are putting 6 in, and I will give you this advice because we're going to see if we can get Eric Cantrell on here. When I did it the first couple years, I put 3 and 3. 3 on the bottom, 3 on top. Eric Cantrell said if you want a better presentation score, you put 5 across the back and you put 1 rib in the front parallel to the hinge. That's kind of like the presentation rib. And he said that typically will score better. So that's what I would tell you on ribs. On pork, if you put one in the box, which you feel like you need to put in the box, but I would tell you this, and I think Aaron will tell you the same. Don't put it in the box if it's not any good. 6 thighs are required, or 6 legs or whatever. I guess you can just 6 pieces has got to be in the box, whether you're going to cook legs or thighs or however you're going to do it. You can put thighs and wings in the box, but just put what is in 6 thighs fills up a box. Let's put it that way. So you can sneak some wings in there. If you look at my box, I was able to sneak 6 wings in there. So brisket, I always think it's good. I think Aaron will agree, and Eric Cantrell, yes, 6 is required. It's always good, and I think I heard Aaron say, give them that 7th so that table captain has got a slice of brisket to eat on. So I think I put 8 in my box. I want a full box of brisket when they see it. It's easy to put. If you got 6 good slices, you probably got 8, at least 7, and they're probably not going to get to that back slice anyway. So what do you say, Aaron?
As you already pointed out, there's only 6 judges. And you don't put more than what you need unless you just think it's there. But the more options you give a judge, the more they have to ding you on, right? So if you put 3 types of meat in the box, let's say a pork, say you put 3 options of pork in the box, it better be damn good.
Yeah.
If you just have one option that's just good and the rest of it's mush, then turn in what you need. Just turn in 6 pieces. All it's got to have is 6 pieces.
Yep.
So if you try to fill the box up and you try to go over and beyond, right? Because you want to make it you just okay. I'm at the Royal. I need to make it big and bold and plentiful. It doesn't work that way because the judge has to eat everything in the box that you put in there.
Right.
So all you need is 6. My first call at the American Royal back in 2016, I had a 179.5. I was a half point away from a 180 rib, and I had 6. I just put 3 in the bottom, 3 in the top. They were shiny, glossy, nice red sauce. I picture framed with the kale or the parsley.
Yep.
I mean, it was in my first call. I just did 6. That's all I had.
Yeah.
I was like, what? All I need is 6. I told myself over and over and over, Friday night and Saturday morning, Aaron, all you need is 6. All you need is 6. Don't go overboard. So, when I look at this and I look back at what I did, you just need 6. Don't sit there. And now brisket, obviously the brisket, your slices are good. If you have 7 or 8 slices, go for it. I mean, just knock it out of the park. Because if your brisket is good, 7 slices, 8 slices, yeah, you can fill it up, right?
Right.
And there's going to be 2 slices left over. Someone's taking that home.
Yeah.
But if you got burn ends, your burn ends aren't as good as the slices, or your slices are better than your burn ends, or the burn ends are better than your slices. I mean, you got to make that call to where you don't want to fill the box up too much. But all you need is enough for 6 judges. So no matter what, keep it simple. Don't go overboard, and just give the judge what they need and meet the requirements. Because the more you do, sometimes the worse you'll do on yourself, because you hurt yourself more by trying to fill that box up.
That's 100%. So if you look at my box, you saw 2 rows of money muscles, 4 on each row. I, look, I'm not a pork cooker. You know, I've cooked pork 3 times in CBA. I've cooked it 4 times at the American Royal. That's it. At the American Royal 4 times, I've had a 7th place and an 11th place at the American Royal in 4 times of cooking. I had a 11th place at the Jack. At every competition, all I did was put in 2 rows of money muscles. I think at the American Royal, I had 2 rows of 5. This weekend, I had 2 rows of 4. I am not putting all that other, I'm not putting bacon, I'm not putting chunks, I'm not putting all that stuff in the box because that is more stuff that they can nail you on. You may have had perfect money muscle, but what you think is good on bacon, they may hate, and now you're done. So I'm going to cook one thing to perfection, and I'm going to put it in the box, and I'm going to stick by that because it has gotten me it's gotten me paid, it's gotten me some walks, it's kept me in the game, and that's the name of the game. So I'm not going to change it. I had 1 money muscle that I didn't do anything with. I had 3. I got 2 of them that were perfect. They were perfect. I sliced 3 of them. I had 1 of them that I had set off to the side. I tasted them. 1 of them was a little tough on the outside for some reason. Don't know why. Maybe it just didn't have as much fat in it. I was like, nope, not using that one. I'm using this. I'm using number 1 and number 3. Number 2's out because I numbered them 1 through 4. And so I threw out the second one and I put in 4 and 4 off of the number 1 and the number 3 money muscle, and they were good. And that's what went in the box. My wings, like Eric Cantrell said, if your wings are not good, you put 1 in the box to justify the rules. Other than that, if you feel like you want to put all of them in there, do it. And the only reason I did, man, that wing was really good. I was like, I don't know what they're going to get me on. This thing is tender. It is juicy. It is moist. It tastes like chicken. I'm going to take a chance with it. And I got
you like it. You like it. That's
I
it.
liked
That's
it.
all you
And
can go off of. Your gut. Your
and
gut
I was
will
and
tell
I
you,
was
leave it
still
alone.
scared to do it, but I was scared also at the same time. If I put 1 in, are they going to ding me? And it was funny. I was looking. Somebody posted they had a 7th place chicken. It had 1 wing, 6 thighs, 1 wing. I was like, I guess it really didn't matter. And knowing that, I probably would have just put 1 wing in it. And who the heck knows? The 15th may have been higher. I don't know. That's the part you don't know. What was the one thing that would have moved it up or down? All right, let's see. We got how long did you spend making your box? Kel, I assume. It took me about, I'd say probably about 6 or 7 minutes to do each one of my boxes. I've got a very simple process. I just lay it in like carpet. I don't cut it. I just grab it and I just get it in a little rosette and I twist it. And I got a nice big rosette and I just drop it in my box. And I kind of work for the upper half of the kale. I kind of get real big leaves of kale instead of those that are little spiner. And I'll just kind of wad them up till I got a little rosette. And I want it like however tall I want it. And I just take my hand and I just twist it. And I just put it in the box. I don't cut.
You know,
I
the
don't do
funny
nothing.
thing about that, Mike, is there's a class on Barbecue Champs Academy.
Is it?
Take the class. And
I
Aaron
don't
Leslie's class, he goes into kale, how to make that kale box. It's about 4
Okay.
minutes a box for me. So
Okay.
you can also go in there and buy the class, and you can see me do the boxes for the KCBS with kale. I mean, you just take the class.
Well, you would think I'd watch some of that stuff, but I don't.
No, I honestly, we were doing it. Tim made 2 boxes. Brian was busy doing his prep work, so Tim made 2, and I said, we'll be doing the 2. He goes, yeah, I'd love that. And he goes, if you think you can, I'm pretty particular about my boxes, Aaron. I said, okay, all right, Tim, I got you. So I went there, I spent 5 minutes, made me a nice little carpet down there of kale box. And he's like, hey, I guess that'll work. That's pretty good, not bad for a white boy. And I was like, yeah, So, but it takes about an average of 5 minutes to do your kale box.
Yeah.
All you need is a good base. You can always come fill it in when the meat's in there. The meat's going to cover 80% of that usually anyway.
Right.
So.
Right. Yep. All right, Patrick, let's see. Hey, fellas, at these competitions, is there any ever room to try something outside the box, say like pork chops or turkey wings? I mean, that's a good question, Patrick. If you're not
That's
new,
a cook's choice. That's
cook's
a cook's choice answer.
Yeah, so a lot of times now in our competition, we have to cook brisket ribs, pork butt and chicken on some in a lot of the Texas is just brisket ribs and chicken. But they do have a people's choice or a cook's choice, and you can cook whatever you want. And man, the kids, they cook pork chops all the time. So yeah, you could do a pork chop. You could do turkey wings if you wanted to. And that would be a pretty cool deal if you wanted to fry up some turkey wings, because it's a people's choice. You can do whatever you want. You could fry up a turkey wing and turn that in as a people's choice. And so yeah, it is a opportunity to do that, but it's going to be not in the competition part of it. For the barbecue, it's going to be in the people's choice. But great question. So, and we've had a lot of folks on here. We ain't even got into the American Royal stuff. All right, I tell you what, we're going to wrap it up. Purvis is getting ready to kick it off over there. We don't ever like taking any of his time. I always try to be cautious of his stuff as well. Look, guys, we really do appreciate it. We've had almost 50, 55 people on all night long. A lot of great questions. Come back next week. I'll probably have Aaron with me. I'll try to have Lee Hickle with me. I'll try to see if I can get David Bosca on. I always get Smitty on. He's a killer at the American Royal as well. All of these world champs can get in here and answer a lot of questions about the Royal. I'm also going to see if I can get Eric Cantrell on here. He is a KCBS Master Judge, over 150 competitions. He can give us a lot of insight. Whether you're going to go cook the American Royal, you may not be doing it now, but it's this kind of knowledge that you want, because one day you may be cooking there. And if you are, you're going to want this kind of knowledge. Or maybe there's just a KCBS competition you want to go to in general. So if that's the case, you just need to get in there, and so you can get a lot of information. Vince, thank you so much for the sauce. I turned in some of his number 7 sauce, doctored it up a little bit with some JD, and they didn't like it, I guess. I think I finished 42nd. Who knows, man?
Yeah,
it was
man,
a little
there's so
thin.
many sauces out there.
Yeah, it was a lot of sauces, but it was freaking good. I can tell you that. So thank you, Gordon, for being here. Steve, appreciate it. Looking forward to next week. Absolutely. And we got the little gringo girl, Ray. Get out there and go kill it. I know you're getting ready to go cook the kids world champion stuff. She's been putting in the hard work. So huge congratulations for your hard work that you've put in, and go get them. Look, guys, we really do appreciate everybody being here. Oh, yes, real quick. Don't leave.
Hey,
We needed to talk about this.
My grandson has AGS 7. It's only 5 kids in the United States have this disease, this special circumstance that goes along with them. We're having a cook-off in Midland, Texas, November 15th. It's a CBA, guys. It's 100% payback. We got some great trophies. We got some great prizes. We got a lot of stuff we're giving away. If you guys would love to come cook one, we'd love to have you support an awesome young man and try to help our family. So I'd love to see you guys there November 15th, Midland, Texas, American Legion, CBA. Get signed up, please. Look it up on the website, Cooking for Cowboy.
Yeah, go to CBA website. This is a great cause. Aaron's trying to raise money for his grandson. He's got a very, very rare disease.
Very rare.
Very rare. Only 5 people in the entire United States have it. So they put this cook-off on every year, last 3 or 4 years anyway. And so go to CBA, get signed up for it, and 100% of that money is going to be paid back. And man, this is for a great cause. So we'll mention it again next week, Aaron. And I love you, brother. Thank you for being on. It was great cooking with you guys this weekend. And we really do, Mike. We do appreciate everybody that's been on here tonight. It's been a great show. Thank y'all so much for being here. And thoughts and prayers. Yes, sir. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate it. I hope everybody's enjoyed it. Lord willing, we'll see y'all next week, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. Y'all go out there. As we always say, have a lot of fun. And what do we say, Aaron?
Take the class.
Smoke on. Smoke on. I love it. That's hilarious.
I'll get in there.
Take the class. That's awesome. And we'll end this. For some reason, it's not ending the stream. Let's try this.